What's the number one goal for many high school athletes? To play a Division I sport. What if I told you someone was living out that dream and then gave it up to follow God? This is Langston Ginder's story.
Growing up, I played at Carroll, which was we were pretty competitive. We had a lot of good people, and then with the help of that, and then alongside of my coaches with the Summit City Sluggers in the summer, we went to different tournaments, and we would play in different cities, and there'd be some cities or like some tournaments would have more scouts per se, and you just go out, play the game, try to win a tournament, obviously.
His Summit City Slugger coaches did a good job of putting him in places where Langston could get recognized. Sophomore year of high school, scouts did just that.
When that would happen, it wouldn't be like next year, but it'd be like, hey, like in 3 years, like, would you like be interested in coming here? And you know, as a sophomore, like, you don't even know like what's for lunch for the next day, but then they're already like planning your college, like trying to instill that in you. And honestly, it was a really cool process, but it was also super stressful because, you know, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I felt like I was kind of being pressured in some ways to like make a decision.
Ginder's dad was also his high school coach and supported him through the process, but encouraged his son to make his own decisions.
From Langston's standpoint, I didn't have a lot of conversations with coaches about his ability, and maybe that was because I was his dad, but I stayed out of that, and those kind of things were kind of directed through the summer. I always felt he was a kid that played hard, understood the game, and did a lot of the little things that made for a really solid baseball player.
It didn't take long for Huntington University to find out about what kind of a player Langston was.
He was still small at the time, but I remember hearing a lot about him. He plays for a really good high school. His dad runs an extremely well coached team at Carroll High School. So just a lot of connections. He played down here on this field with the Summit City Sluggers, so it seemed like wherever I went, I was running into him.
That ended up not being enough. Langston later committed to play at Ball State University for Coach Rick Maloney.
You know, when it came down to some of his final choices, and I remember him asking us, well, like, where do you think we should go, or what do you think we should, you know, where do you think what I should do? We gave our thoughts on places and said, you know, ultimately it's your decision, and we trusted him with that. And so there was not a place though that I would say, oh, I would rather him go to Ball State than Indiana Wesleyan or another school. As a mom, I was hoping he would choose somewhere closer to home that we could go to a lot of games. That was kind of in our talks and in my heart. But I mean, if he would have chose to go out west or something like that, that would have been fine too.
Going into it, I always dreamed of playing baseball at like the highest level I could. You know, as a kid, it's like waking up and dreaming you're walking out and running on the Yankee Stadium for me. And to get there, I wanted to play at like the highest level, and I had an opportunity to do that, and really enjoyed like what Coach Maloney and them had told me about like wanting to develop a person and then develop a baseball player, and kind of felt like that was a good spot for me to be in, especially for me and my faith. My first start was like against Alabama, and being able to be there in the warm weather and with a crowd, and being able to hear your name called in the starting lineup was something really cool.
But Langston was beginning to learn baseball wasn't the only dream he had for his life. Another dream was surfacing, and this one was bigger than baseball.
We had just lost in the MAC championship to Central Michigan, and the next day we had our exit interviews, and I've been kind of thinking and praying about it, and I didn't say anything to anybody about it, just because I know it weighed on me, like, to make this decision. It was like another big decision I had to make. And we got down to it, and I was like, hey, like, I think it'd be in my best interest not to come to Ball State next year for my degree, not for a baseball reason, but for a schooling reason. And we got down to talking to it, and the coaches were very understanding. They were very helpful. And when I got my name in the transfer portal, they even were like reaching out to other schools for me. So we never left on a bad note or anything.
Even before he started college, ministry was kind of in the back of his mind. He's always kind of thought that possibly, but didn't know for sure what. Maybe working with some special needs kids and stuff like that too. Some of those ideas were, but he just wasn't certain.
I would like love to just be working with people who have been like hurting, abused, or addicted, and being there for them. Me as a person, I just really enjoy helping people, And I kind of noticed that throughout high school. I really enjoyed working with our special needs programs, and I was a small group leader at our church. And then kind of fell in love with just like the idea of serving and helping one another in any aspect, really. And as I got to talking with some people, and I got to do some things as I got older in high school with our church, I was able to serve and do these groceries for homeless people, and we'd meet and talk with them, and just being able to do something like that just really opened up my eyes to something that I had a passion for.
The Frames didn't just have a connection with Langston, but they had a connection with Dave back in the day when he was in high school.
I've known Coach Frame for years. He actually recruited me back in the day when I was just a kid, back in the glory days. We wanted to help him find a good fit, a fit financially, a fit academically, just some place that he could be comfortable and still have an opportunity to play baseball for a few more years, something he's always loved to do and to compete with. And Huntington turned out to be the right place for him.
I know he was getting some other offers from teams in our conference, but deep down inside, I felt like, especially with our connection, I felt like he wasn't going anywhere besides Huntington. It was a perfect fit for him from a baseball standpoint. It was a perfect fit for him from an academic standpoint. But obviously, when you get to know Langston, just the overall feel of HU, everything we stand for here is absolutely perfect for him.
Last year, the Foresters were conference champions with an overall record of 23-24, with a conference record of 16-10. Huntington is looking to improve on this season and to make a run in the NAIA National Tournament, and Langston Ginder just might be the key for that.
He's going to come in right away. We're still looking at where he's going to fit in defensively. We have a good idea where he's going to be, but he's going to be in the lineup somewhere. He's going to be a special player for us, that's for sure.
I hope in some aspect that I'm able to be on the field and playing, doing whatever it needs to be. And if I'm not playing, being like the best teammate you can be and serving others in that way. I know I want to serve. I want to glorify the Lord. I want to spread His news. I want to spread that to other people as well.